Welcome back, Kaiju fans. Today we got the first official trailer for Godzilla the Planet Eater, the third and final film in the Godzilla Anime trilogy, sponsored and funded by Netflix and developed by Toho and Polygon Studios. So, this trailer was interesting. We'll just kind of go through it scene by scene here, point out the interesting details that show up. And to start out, it's basically looks like the trailer is taking place immediately following the edge of Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle, where Godzilla is in hibernation after escaping Mechagodzilla City, and is completely dormant and inactive, kind of what we see in Shin Godzilla, so definitely not a new thing now. Moving on from there, we get an image of a huge nuclear bomb going off on Earth. It is unknown whether or not this is some kind of flashback to the pre-Earth Exodus, or if this is some new attack on something. But as we know as far as we know right now, Godzilla is still hibernating in this moment. Moving forward, we are in the caverns owned by the natives of Earth, where Haru is holding on to, or examining, I guess, Yuko's body. She doesn't appear to be dead, but still has a bunch of metal in her skin, so she looks kind of messed up, but not dead, which is kind of surprising considering how the end of City on the Edge of Battle went. Moving on from there, there appears to be a ritual that goes on, being held by the natives of Earth. They're holding up some weird wireframe shapes and kind of just like moving around dancing to their word wall, whatever is inscribed on there. We don't really know the purpose of this ritual, but moving on from there, it's Metaphys, and we don't know if he's in the same location as this ritual. It's kind of the same environment, still the caverns, but he appears to be having a ritual of his own with his fancy glowing green rock that his race loves to talk to, that their god is a part of. And then he holds it up into the air with the disgruntled crew of the Earth recolonization / Godzilla killing squad, and then it starts to glow golden. And then moving on from there, King Ghidorah's shadow appears on the ground underneath Metaphys holding up this rock, and he appears surprised, but it also looks like at the same time he's intentionally summoning King Ghidorah, as we know that it is the destroyer of his home planet. Maybe their god that they've been in communion with the entire time was Ghidorah, and they just never revealed that to anybody. But moving on from there, we get a silhouette of King Ghidorah's body. This is the only time we see the entire body of King Ghidorah, and it's in a terrible angle. As going on from there, it immediately starts cutting into King Ghidorah, his long necks wrapping around and attacking the last human ship orbiting Earth still, and just they're under attack from him. Probably not going to make it. This is probably the end of that spaceship, considering Ghidorah is there in space with it. And then we see this strange sequence on Earth. It almost appears as King Ghidorah's neck spiraling around almost an entire region of Earth. It's huge. It's causing some kind of energy pattern in circular shape. I'm going to assume this is why King Ghidorah is called Planet Eater. It looks like he's almost starting to absorb Earth, so we're just gonna go with that and call that this the Planet Eater move is what he's doing here. Definitely interesting. And then moving on from there, we have the a shot of King Ghidorah's necks coming out of one of the portals over Earth's atmosphere, spreading out over Earth, and Metaphys standing in front of it with his back to us, with his arms out. Basically, he looks like he's praising King Ghidorah coming through the portal, which leads me to believe he intentionally summoned King Ghidorah to Earth and is totally in on this, and makes us wonder if Ghidorah is actually a bad kaiju, a villain, or if Metaphys is actually crazy and was out to kill everybody all along. We don't know. So, yeah. Moving on from that, Godzilla wakes up. He's awake and looks like he's about to start fighting Ghidorah. We see him start charging up an atomic blast and then shoot it at King Ghidorah, well, his next at least, since his body's still in wherever, on a different side of the universe. And it misses. Either it misses or it goes straight through him. It just kind of like bounces past and it curves up almost like it's being deflected, which is strange, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did go straight through him, considering the next shot is Ghidorah right next to Godzilla, and Godzilla tries to grab onto King Ghidorah, but his hand passes straight through Ghidorah's neck, just phases right through it, does not make contact, meaning Ghidorah is either ethereal or is a ghost, or made entirely of just energy, which makes this movie immediately lame, because Godzilla actually can't fight Ghidorah, because Ghidorah's not real. Wow. Then we have one of the princesses of the natives and one of the crew members of Haru. They're reaching out and touching some glowing golden orb, something. This is a super brief shot that I thought was interesting that you might have missed. It went by super quick. I don't know what they're touching. It doesn't kind of go in any more detail other than just this one shot. We don't know what this is. It's probably not Ghidorah, but what else would they be reaching out and touching that's glowing golden, literally the exact same signature that Ghidorah's animation is, so that's definitely weird. It's probably not Mothra, because there's been no hints at Mothra the entire time. Moving on from that, Haru is down, looks unconscious, wounded. Metaphys is holding him up, has blood on his shirt. They appear to be outside. There's a fire lit in the background. This is probably the scene that the poster was illustrating, where Metaphys is like carrying Haru away from the battle of Godzilla and Ghidorah. I'm gonna assume he doesn't die, since Yuko is literally like poisoned and metal inside of her and she lives, so apparently human characters can't die in this. So he's probably fine. Then moving on from that, we have some shots of Godzilla and Ghidorah fighting. One where Ghidorah is actually biting onto Godzilla, which doesn't make any sense considering Godzilla's beam and hand pass straight through Ghidorah. There's no reason that Ghidorah should be able to bite onto Godzilla, because his head should just phase right through his shoulder. So, continuity error there, unless that is something that it gets explained. And then we move on to a wide shot of all of Ghidorah's heads basically wrapping around Godzilla, the traditional Ghidorah attack against Godzilla. Something we've seen in every movie. It's kind of just that signature thing that they need to throw in somewhere, but definitely a cool shot nonetheless. And then we cut out to the title card of Godzilla Planet Eater. So definitely a interesting trailer. This is still not like subbed anywhere, so since I don't speak Japanese, I have no idea any of the dialogue that actually goes on here, which would probably hint a lot at the plot. But just from the imagery and the way the characters are placed and positioned, it definitely looks like Metaphys is in on Ghidorah's summoning, intentionally brought him to Earth to either fight Godzilla. We don't know if maybe the crew, since they seem disgruntled, convinced Metaphys to summon Ghidorah to kill Godzilla as like a last-ditch effort to take back the planet. Maybe Metaphys can somehow control Ghidorah, and if it does kill Godzilla, he can convince it to leave them alone, go back to wherever it came from, and they get Earth back to themselves. Don't know. Obviously, the translation, when that happens, will be very enlightening, but that's going to be it for now. Let me know what you guys think about this trailer, if you missed any of the stuff that I pointed out here. If you think Metaphys summoned Ghidorah, and if you think Haru is going to die. And I will catch you all in the next video. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I appreciate it a lot. As always, liking, commenting, and sharing really helps out my channel. And make sure you're subscribed if you want to stay up to date on the latest kaiju news and crisp reviews.